Welcome, everybody. John Aravosis here. How are we all doing today? Sorry, I got the chat set up like late or the room or whatever on YouTube. Sorry about that. Let me get TikTok rolling now. I mean, you all were hanging out, even though I've only got it set up a couple minutes ago. Thank you for that. All right, TikTok. Glasses. There we go. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. Boom. Trump and Ukraine. We can still stick with that. One moment. Maple leaves. No fun new gifts here. TikTok, you're not being fun here. Relaxed goose. Oh, the goose is fun. All right. Go live. Boom. All right. And 1 second here. Switch my camera, which everybody likes on YouTube. There we go. On TikTok. There we go. Boom. All right. Woo. Anyway, hello everybody. What is up? Hey, para pena. Welcome on TikTok. You're the first person to show up. You beat my mods. Hey, Koso. Hey, Blue Ariel. All right. More likes can attract viewers. Keep it up. Okay, well, hit the like button. Now, I always do kind of forget that on TikTok, maybe YouTube as well. Hit the like or whatever it is. Or on YouTube, I guess it's thumbs up. It may actually get the broadcast out to more people. It's a guess. Worth a try. Thank you, John S., for the gifts. Hey, DBZ. Jetta. Jorge. Larissa. Thank you. Oh, gifts already coming in. Thank you, Larissa. Anyway, hello, guys. Hello. Para pena hola. Para pena hola? Oculo. Oh, I thought you were getting, I thought that name was bothering me. The second part, at least, and then the third part, obviously, but the second word also had me going. That's what I thought. Anyway. Oh, Dino, you're early. Dino, don't you know how to troll? You can't criticize somebody for the content before the content starts. Has Vladimir Putin taught you nothing? We have very bad Twitter trolls today, or TikTok trolls today. You can't, he's made some criticism about the content. I'm like, we haven't started yet. You can't read your talking points until the content starts. Do you not know how to troll? I am embarrassed for you. Thank you, Mikey, for the gift. Dino. Yes, Dino does not know how to troll, sadly. Sadly. Oh, well. Anyway, so welcome, guys. We're going to talk about Ukraine. Interesting Trump. We're going to actually talk a lot about Trump's picks, which I'm very, very intrigued. Trump's policy picks, his people he's been picking for foreign policy have been, they're not great, but they're not awful, which is insane, which is weird. The awful people are getting skipped. The really awful people. Thank you, Tattoo. They're still not good people. But Trump picked several people today who are better than they could. Adjusting my shirt here. Better than they could be. Much better than I expected. Put it that way, even though they're not good. Anyway, we'll talk about that today. So welcome, everybody. How you doing? I am John Aravosis. This is my show. We talk about thank you, running. We talk about the war in Ukraine. We talk about the U.S. election. Now we've got Trump and Ukraine happening simultaneously, so to speak. So we're going to talk about both today, our usual. Thank you, running. We'll talk about U.S. politics overall if people want as well. Thank you, Adventures. The way the show works is I will be going through the news first, and then second half of the show, we take your questions. Although I do take comments and things as we're going as well. Thank you, Iggy. If I sort of see a comment that catches my interest while we're talking. So let me just get started here. So today is day 991. Thank you, Tattoo Bum, of Vladimir Putin's special 3-day military operation. Thank you, KC. Please keep the gifts coming. As you guys know, I do this for a living. I do it full time. Your gifts pay the bills. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Rock, for the gifts there. So I appreciate that. As I said, Trump has picked a number of people for national security jobs who, I was using my hands and then tattooed a gift there too. Or is that, Rock, it was Rock doing, it was tattooed to the hands, and then Rock with the donuts. I mean, Trump is picking bad people because it's Donald Trump. I mean, you get what you get, right? Thank you, Casey. But they're not as bad as they could be, which is really weird. It's really weird. Thank you, Russell, for the swan. Listen to this. Okay, so first we find out today. Thank you, Chazak. Thank you, Ms. Sage. Donald Trump picks his national security advisor today. National security advisor is a White House job of somebody who coordinates national security policy. Hard to explain, but it's a very important job. It is kind of, thank you, Ellen, for the gifts. It's kind of somebody who is helping the president sort of balance the State Department, the Defense Department, the CIA, like all these different agencies that deal with national defense and national security weighing in. And the National Security Advisor, in principle, helps the president kind of balance all the information, okay? So top national security aide to the president. He picks somebody, thank you, Life, for the gift, thank you, Ellen. He picks somebody named Mike Waltz, who's a Republican congressman from Florida. The thing is, Waltz is not terrible. I mean, and I'm grading on a curve, okay? I mean, we're talking a Donald Trump pick. Waltz is not terrible. Thank you, Carol. Waltz is, thank you, Russell, for the leaves. I appreciate that. Waltz is a Trumper. He's picking Trumpers. I mean, and again, it's like I'm trying to sort of put information from multiple angles here for you guys. Thank you, Eileen. I was somewhat relieved at some of the choices today. They're still Trumpers and they're still bad picks, right? But way better than they could have been. Or yeah, I think way better than they could have been. And they're still Trumpers though. So even if some of these guys have good views, which I think they do, like on Ukraine and national security, they're still going to do what Donald Trump wants. So that's still a concern. But let's get to this. So Mike Waltz. Mike Waltz is the Republican congressman from Florida, picked to be national security advisor. First Green Beret veteran to serve in Congress, was deployed in Afghanistan, the Middle East, and Africa. Super China hawk. Thank you, Elizabeth. The Sky News, big British publication, their correspondent says about Waltz, he is a MAGA loyalist, but also an Atlanticist, traditional interventionist, Russia hawk, and hardliner on China, meaning he believes in the Atlantic Alliance. He believes in NATO. He's a traditional interventionist, meaning, like conservative Republicans, believes in using the U.S. military when necessary to go abroad and support democracy, defend America, attack our enemies, right? Hardliner on China. Nothing wrong with that. Hardliner on Russia, actually, which is interesting. He's a Russia hawk. This isn't as bad as it could have been, right? A couple of different jobs got picked today, actually, from what we know. One was National Security Advisor. Another one is Secretary of State, where we got Marco Rubio. Again, I don't like Marco Rubio, but Rubio is kind of a normal hawkish Republican. On Ukraine, all of these guys have come around on Ukraine, right, because of Trump. So they're gonna parrot. They're not gonna disagree with Trump, right? Obviously, but Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, we could have had Rick Grinnell, who's a lunatic. I know Rick Grinnell. Thank you, Diana. I've met him multiple times. I met him at dinner once at a friend's house before he was super famous, whatever. He's a Twitter troll. Rick Grinnell is a troll. He's I like Don Jr. with a little more intelligence. Scary, right? Grinnell was our ambassador to Germany. The Germans out there know who this guy is. Horrible man. Grinnell, so far, he was supposed to get Secretary of State. He didn't, okay? Kash Patel, another wacko, was supposed to get CIA director. He didn't. They just picked somebody else for CIA director. John Ratcliffe, who's not a good man. He's MAGA. He's bad. He's like a bad House Republican, but he's better than Kash Patel. Kash Patel is just horrific. The two most horrific people Trump could be applying or appointing for jobs in foreign policy are Kash Patel and Rick Grinnell. So far, they're not getting any jobs. And other than maybe the Defense Department, let's see, if Kash Patel gets the Defense Department or Rick Grinnell does, that's horrible. But that's kind of all that's left at this point. It's a little strange. Anyway, let me go on here. So the new U.S. National Security Advisor initially supported aid to Ukraine, visited Kyiv in May 2022, criticized Biden for not providing sufficient weapons and weapons in a timely fashion to Ukraine, criticized Biden for not providing long-range weapons to Ukraine. So the National Security Advisor that Trump picked is good on Ukraine, but like all of them, he changed his tune last year. Trump convinced all the Republicans last year to basically, start defending Russia, stop defending America, stop defending Ukraine. And the new National Security Advisor, Waltz, started going along with the same party line, right? Oh, we should cut off Ukraine. The Europeans aren't doing enough when Europe has actually Europe has provided twice as much money as the Americans have. Twice as much aid. Thank you, Pedro. Literally twice as much aid from the Europeans as the Americans. But it's the Trump party line, thank you, Luisa, that the Europeans haven't, and all these guys repeat it, right? Let me read you this line too. So this line's from the National Security Advisor as well, the new guy that Trump is picking. If Putin is successful in Ukraine, he won't stop until he involves NATO countries. Stopping Russia before it draws NATO and therefore the U.S. into war is the right thing to do. He was supporting Ukraine, again, last year or the year before, thank you, Jupiter, supporting Ukraine because he believes that Russia will move on to Europe next, to the rest of Europe, that Russia will basically go to war with the Europeans if we don't stop Russia now. That's great. I mean, that is the kind of attitude we need. Now, having said that, he's now a Trumper. Thank you, Lise, right? He's going to go with whatever Donald Trump wants, but still, I would rather have people like him and Rubio giving Trump advice who at least are hawkish on Russia, right? Who at least don't love Russia and aren't obedient to Russia the way Trump is, right? So this is, I just think this is very interesting. Kirsten Ohm, yeah, she's crazy. I mean, again, they're still going to be crazies. It's Donald Trump, right? We're not getting good people. Thank you, Adventurers. Thank you, Denise. But as I said, I'm very interested in seeing some of these national security picks of Trump because they're not, Carol just said, not the worst case scenario, but exactly, they're not the worst case scenario. And actually, like I said, they're like on National Security Advisor and Secretary of State on Russia, they're pretty good. And on China, they're really good. And on Iran, they're pretty good, which is also good. I mean, not that Trump would suck up to Iran or China, but still, better than last time, that's hard to say. Last time, Trump had better people. I mean, in general, because remember, Secretary of State was Rex Tillerson, who was totally normal. National Security Advisor, National Security Advisor was not. National Security Advisor at first was Michael Flynn, who's the total wackadoo. Thank you, Russell. Remember Michael Flynn, thank you, Adventurers. Michael Flynn's the guy who defends QAnon now and stuff like the crazy stuff. So, and had the really weird ties to Russia that got fired like 10 days into the job because the CIA found out he was having secret discussions with the Russians or something. So Flynn was horrific on the national security stuff. So, anyway, very weird. In any case, let's go on. So another story that's out there is, and this is a story that I am going to defend Donald Trump on this one. People are putting out a story that the Russians admitted that Trump works for them or something. I don't think so. I mean, again, Trump does work for them. So that's not in question. But I don't think the Russians actually said that. Thank you, Tiger Pug. So this came from TASS, Russian news outlet. Obviously, Russia's a dictatorship. Russian news outlets work for Putin. Okay. And the initial sort of summary of the article was people saying, well, the Russians say they got Trump elected and he works for them now, right? I don't think that's what they're saying, actually. I mean, again, they've helped Trump repeatedly, and Trump does owe them or something. Trump has some weird obeisance to Russia, right? He obeys Russia. He obeys Putin. We don't know why. There's some weird connection there. Thank you, Tiger Pug. But listen to this from Chess. I want to read you the article because you will hear this story out there that, the Russians admitted Trump works for them. No. Yeah, Tim Pool, he's a winner. Yeah, exactly. Or however you say Tim Pool in Russian. Listen to this from Tess. In his future policies, including those on the Russian track, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump will rely on the commitments to the forces that brought him to power. Some people thought the Russians were saying us, the Russians, right? Rather than on election pledges that he would rely on. Russian presidential aide Nikolai Patrushev said. The election campaign is over, Patrushev noted. To achieve success in the election, Donald Trump relied on certain forces to which he has corresponding obligations. As a responsible person, he will be obliged to fulfill them. He says, Trump has made many statements critical of the destructive foreign and domestic policies pursued by the Biden administration, but very often election pledges in the U.S. can diverge from subsequent actions. What Patrushev is saying is Trump was really good in the election. Trump was really pro-Russian and anti-Biden, and Biden's anti-right. That Trump was, they liked Trump in the election. They like what Trump was saying, the Russians do. But what the Russians are saying is often in American elections, who knows, secret parties help or whatever, help get Trump elected, and he'll be beholden to those secret people who got him elected. Who knows what the hell the Russians are talking about? It's crazy talk, but they're not saying Trump will be beholden to them. They're saying Trump is going to be beholden to some secret American, like the military-industrial complex or whatever the hell it is. That's what they're really saying. That's what they're saying. Anyway, a little more here. Kyiv Independent, Russian forces have suffered their deadliest day since the start of the full-scale invasion for the second day in a row, according to figures released by Kyiv. Moscow's troops lost 1,950 men over the previous day. This surpasses the previous record of 1,770 set just the day before. We are talking casualties, killed and wounded, not just killed, keep in mind. Total number of killed and wounded casualties stands at around 700,000, 600,000 to 700,000, according to the Brits and the Ukrainians. Everybody pretty much agrees. Horrific numbers from Russia. What's interesting about that story is, and we'll get to this in a second, Putin is making a big push in Kursk, which is the region that the Ukrainians invaded in Russia, and they control part of that region. Putin is making the big push with a lot of Russian troops and 12,000 North Korean troops, right? Story out today from the Telegraph, a British paper, says that and I think this may be British intelligence. Yes, it's a British defense intelligence assessment that they think Putin is trying to get as much success as he can in the next 2 months before Trump becomes president. That Putin is actually afraid that Trump might try to force an end to the war. And therefore, Putin wants to get as much land as he can before Trump forces an end. And also, Putin wants to try to get his land back before Trump forces a pause, because if the Ukrainians control some of Russia's land, like in the Kursk area, then that's going to be something the Russians have to trade for. So, any case, that was the second story from the Telegraph, that British intelligence thinks the Russians are now going to try as hard as possible in the next 2 months to get as much land as possible before Trump comes to power, because then they think Trump may try to freeze the war. That goes hand in hand with these numbers we're seeing from Ukrainian intelligence saying that the Russians are having the largest number of casualties per day ever, because Putin is basically just throwing these guys at the Ukrainians and doesn't even care if they die, because he just wants to get as many men as possible, or as I should say, get as much land as possible. North Korean soldiers have actively joined the fighting alongside Russian forces. This, according to the U.S. State Department. Thank you, Dave, for subscribing on TikTok. Over 10,000 North Korean soldiers have been sent to eastern Russia, and most of them have moved to the far western Kursk Oblast, where they have begun engaging in combat operations with Russian forces, according to State Department spokesperson. It is the first time the U.S. has said that North Korean troops are actively engaged in fighting against Ukraine. Ukrainian drones struck an oil depot in Russia's Belgorod Oblast, which is right on the border of Ukraine. Good that Ukraine is still going after Russia's oil, because that's important. Oil and energy overall, oil and natural gas, are so important to the Russian government that they make up like 40% of the Russian federal budget. So the Russian budget overall, 40% of the government's budget comes from Russia's oil and gas sales. So important that the Ukrainians are basically trying to go after Russia's oil production and refineries. Lavrov. So this was kind of a good little story. I actually don't have too much news today, guys. It's kind of a short news day. Other than the appointments, it's kind of a short news day. Lavrov, who's Russia's foreign minister. This is actually a hilarious story. Oh, the mods are going to be upset with this. Oh, the mods are going to be, not the mods. Our trolls. I'm going to do a pre-troll squeeze of the goat here. Poor Vladimir Putin. Poor Vladimir Putin. He can't go to Brazil now for the G20 summit. He wanted to go to Brazil for this big summit of the top world economies because basically to try to embarrass the West. Because if he shows up, it's hard for all the other Western governments. Like, does Biden show up? Do the French show up? Do the Brits show up when Putin, the war criminal, is there? Well, Putin now is not going to go because he's afraid the Brazilians might arrest him. Because Brazil is a party to the International Criminal Court. And as you know, Putin was indicted by the International Criminal Court for kidnapping children from Ukraine, for abducting children, child trafficking, actually, but abducting children in Ukraine and taking them to Russia. He was indicted by the International Criminal Court. And now this is the second time, maybe the third time. I'm trying to think. He previously couldn't go to South Africa for the big meeting with the other, Brazil, Russia, India, China, et cetera, because he was afraid. He wasn't really afraid the South Africans would arrest him, but he was afraid that they were going to basically be embarrassed. They were going to be embarrassed by him. Zek, this is the same count. I don't know if TikTok unfollowed me, but this is the same count I've had for 4 years now, probably. It's still me. You can tell by the followers. Whenever you see a large number of followers, it usually means that account's been around for a while. So anyway, but so that was pretty funny. Yeah, so Putin is not going to the G20 now because he's afraid of getting arrested, which I think is pretty funny. So that is it for the news. There aren't a lot of stories today. Like I said, there's I would say, like I said, the big story today is the Trump appointments for national security are not as bad as they could be. John Ratcliffe as CIA director. John Ratcliffe is an idiot. Thank you, Diana. He's a total MAGA. He's not just a MAGA troll, so to speak, but he's one of those far-right partisan Republicans from the House of Representatives who released Russian propaganda to attack Hillary Clinton. I mean, like crazy, crazy stuff. CIA director is going to be John Ratcliffe, who was Trump's national security advisor, I think, at one point. Thank you. Who's it, AJ? Thank you for the gift. But again, CIA director was supposed to be Kash Patel. Kash Patel's a nut job. He didn't get it. Secretary of State is Marco Rubio. It was supposed to be Rick Grenell, nut job. Marco Rubio, not a nut job. Not my favorite man, but pretty mainstream conservative Republican. We don't know defense secretary yet. That one we're waiting on. Thank you, Erica from Relaxed Goose. But this is still pretty interesting so far, I would say. What you're seeing is some of the sort of far MAGA supporters of Trump, like the crazies like Michael Tracy or that Hinkle guy. But that Hinkle guy is like a Russian sycophant. So, but they're very upset at the people Trump's picking. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Jen, which is interesting. Now, Defense Department is funny. There's a rumor today. I don't think he's going to. Thank you, Jen. There's a rumor today that Trump is considering Tulsi Gabbard for the Defense Department. I don't think that's true. No, let me rephrase this. The reason I'm not, I didn't plug my microphone in for you guys on TikTok. Let me know if this still works now that I plugged the mic in. That's my better mic for TikTok. For some reason, my good mic no longer works with my computer. I don't know why. TikTok, the mic is working, just making sure, right? The new mic, so to speak, the good mic. There we go. Yeah, I didn't have it plugged in. Didn't realize. Thank you, Russell, for the gift. So yeah, so Tulsi Gabbard is crazy. Not crazy. She's not crazy. She's kind of a Putin sycophant. She's a Syrian. She defends Assad in Syria. Thank you, Lorna. And there was this rumor, former Democrat, but kind of a weird Democrat. There was a rumor of Trump picking her for defense secretary. Because of the decisions Trump has now made in picking very mainstream, not mainstream, I say mainstream, not mainstream, but very conservative Republicans, but that are pretty straightforward for the jobs he's picked, I'd be very surprised if Tulsi Gabbard got Defense Department. Very surprised. But who knows? He still could. Yeah, Hillary called her a Russian asset. Yeah. Thank you, Jen. So, we'll see. We'll see. Trump doesn't care if the Senate won't approve her. Trump last time around, because again, Trump, doesn't exactly believe in democracy. Trump last time around just appointed everybody. In the United States, the U.S. Senate gets to confirm the president's top appointments to the cabinet and some other jobs. And Trump just got around it by appointing them anyway. It kind of illegal. He didn't care because this is Donald Trump. And the Republicans, of course, in Congress, Republicans in the Senate let him do it because they're all like, ooh, letting him do what he wants. Goodbye, little troll. Goodbye, little troll. Thank you, mods. Thank you, Ash. But Trump just appointed everybody. He just appointed them anyway. And he basically gave them like fake jobs, fake job titles. So he'd make you, secretary of something and would just say, well, you're acting secretary of blah, blah. And he'd let them do the secretary job anyway. Kind of not exactly legal. Totally undercut our democracy, totally undercut Republicans in the Senate, but they don't care. So it doesn't really matter if she wouldn't get confirmed. He would appoint him anyway. Well, he didn't do recess. He didn't even do recess appointments, Neil. I don't think he did. Because you can get around recess appointments too. It's not even that. But yeah, so this is our new troll goat, by the way, thanks to Ash. Ash had pointed this out. He's the bigger version of the little goat. He screams the same. We've got the little goat and the big one. The big one's slightly louder, I guess. Actually, I want to see. Hold on. Let's see if we can get all the chipmunks screaming with the goats. Oh, wait. Stop. Wait. Oh, that didn't quite work. Hold on. Let me try this again. Wait. It's okay. It's not perfect. But it does sound like a cat fight. It's okay. That wasn't as good. It was a good idea. Didn't work as well. Good idea, though. Anyway, so yes. So that is it for the news. We're hanging out, though. That was it for the news. Christine, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah. So in any case, so the other thing is, keep in mind, we're gonna hang out and just like talk about the news. We'll talk about Ukraine. We'll talk about Russia. We'll talk about Trump, everything else. And remember, I've got my auctions, guys. We've got auctions going on this week. I am starting up my auctions. For the last couple of years, we've been doing auctions over in our Discord community to benefit Ukraine. 50% of the money goes to Ukraine. 50% of the money goes to support my work. And we've got new auction items. I will show you some of them. Actually, we've got a lot of really cool auction items this week. My favorite, I showed you guys yesterday, I picked up from the White House Historical Association, which is the official White House Historical Association, right across from the White House. And it's a Jackie Kennedy Christmas ornament, which I think is the most fabulous thing I've ever seen. So you can find this over at our Discord. A couple other things. Very cool Ukrainian wristlet made out of leather with the little Ukrainian military logo there. You can see. A couple other things. Oh, Vlad's got a t-shirt. Vlad has a very cool t-shirt that he made for the we've been raising money over the last couple of years to make camouflage nets for the Ukrainians. And this shirt, I'll move over here. Camouflage nets for the Ukrainians. And Vlad made t-shirts for the volunteers. And this is one of the t-shirts he made for the volunteers. It says Harkovu Mir, Kharkiv Peace, which is the name of the charity that's been making the nets. It's got a HIMARS with angry teeth with a net on top. And underneath it, it says the masking or the camouflage 100. Vlad made this is an extra large. Vlad made these t-shirts for the volunteers. Thank you, Super Hornet. Only like 67 of these t-shirts exist. And it's the last one I've got. So check that out. A couple other things. Remember, I'm saying we've got our auctions over at Discord. The mods can tell you how. Really cool trivet from Ukraine. This is part of a local folk culture, or whatever you want to call it, that the Ukrainians do. It's two-sided. It's juniper. It smells very nice, and it's used as a hot plate. You know what I mean? Like you put hot food on top, but it's very pretty too. You could hang it, but you also obviously you can use it for food. What else I got? We've got jewelry. We've got some jewelry from wonderful Wild Hunt Corsetry, who's one of our regulars, who donated some earrings she made of Ukrainian Vyshyvanka style. So we got these. She's a really good jeweler out of Texas. Not Wild Hunt. Did I say Wild Hunt? Oh my God, this is Carrie. Sorry, Carrie. This is Texas Carrie. This is not Wild Hunt. Wild Hunt's great too, but this is Texas Carrie. I don't want to, here. Her new name is Maiden Texas Treasures. I don't want to not give her credit. Oh God, sorry, Carrie. Sorry, Carrie. And actually, one other thing I will show you, because I think no one's bid on this yet. I think it's pretty cool. So James brought this back from Ukraine when he went and volunteered this spring. And I think it's totally cool. It's a cigarette case. Now, I don't smoke, but I think you could use this as a wallet, right? It's got the little sort of latches you can hold stuff on. I think you might be able to use it as a wallet. And it is a cigarette case devoted to the Russian warship "Go F Yourself" meme. Thank you, Jeff. And you can see it's got the Russian warship. It says "Ruski vani koral itsi nahui," which literally means business cards. Business cards. It says cigarette case on the case itself, actually on the box. But business cards would be a good idea too. You guys can see there. Russian warship, "Go F Yourself." This is great. This is because of the Russian warship that attacked the Ukrainians on the first day of the war. And the warship told Ukrainian troops on the island, said, "Ukrainian troops, this is Russian warship, surrender or we will destroy you." And the Ukrainian troops responded, and the world got a copy of the recording. The Ukrainian troops responded, "Russian warship, go F yourself." So the Ukrainians have done a whole meme about this, and it literally says Russian warship, go F yourself. The best part is 6 weeks later, the Ukrainians sunk the warship using a cruise missile, which is very cool. So that's very cool. I'm sure we got other things. Actually, you know what? The other thing, two other things. What the hell? I don't mind showing you. I haven't done auctions in so long in the last couple of months that I don't mind showing you a couple more. The two other things we've got, one is a piece of a Ukrainian, thank you, KT, a piece of a Ukrainian MiG fighter, shot down, could be friendly fighter. We've sort of got some background on the plane. The Ukrainians don't know when they do know when it was shot down. They don't know how. It is thought that this comes, because you see the blue and a little bit of the yellow left from the Ukrainian colors. It's thought that this plane probably comes from one of the Ukrainian sort of Blue Angels squad, like their special fighter squad they used for presentations when they would sort of have the military would sort of show off with the special flying stuff. Anyway, this is a chunk of that's very cool. And finally, we're auctioning off. I think Jens may be the one who bid on this. So far, I am auctioning off a Russian military helmet from Ukraine. It's used, it's old, it's damaged. Thank you, Ava. But it's a Russian military helmet from Ukraine, which is totally cool. So we're also auctioning that off. International is fine. You pay shipping from the US, but international is fine. Thank you, Ava, for the gift. So that is what we've got for auctions. Go over to Discord. You can find it in our Discord community. Thank you, Heather. Discord on YouTube, go to the description of the show and you should see the link. On TikTok, you can find the Discord link in my profile. Click the Linktree link. The first thing that comes up is Discord. If you're on a computer, simply click it and go over. If you're on a phone, hold the Discord link down on TikTok until a pop-up comes up that says accept invite. Click the accept invite and you're fine. Okay, boom. All right, questions there. We're done with the auctions, but do go bid on the auctions. We've got cool stuff this week. I think a lot of this stuff would make cool Christmas gifts, especially, like I said, my personal favorite is the Jackie O ornament, because I just think Jackie Kennedy, this just cracks me up. It's so freaking cool with the little pillbox hat and the purse. Gunther, and for some reason, I think of you when I see this. I have no idea why. But in any case, actually, I've got to be careful here and not put it on the edge of the chair, because if that thing hits the ground, my dog is going to destroy it. Thank you, Eggert. She's going to destroy it and think it's her gift. So anyway, all right. So what's going to happen to Ukraine now that the clown is going to be POTUS? Well, he's probably cutting off U.S. aid. He claims he's going to force Ukraine and Russia to accept some kind of peace treaty. The Ukrainians aren't thrilled about it, but the Russians aren't thrilled about it either. So I don't know. I think this is going to be very interesting for Trump. Trump has claimed that if the Ukrainians don't agree to peace, he'll cut them off. But he's also claimed that if the Russians don't agree to peace, he'll give the Ukrainians even more weapons than Biden did. So I'm kind of intrigued to see what happens next. I mean, it's not good. It's not good, but it's still kind of, yeah, you're fabulous like Jackie. Exactly. I just feel like you would appreciate the kitsch, I guess, for some reason. I feel like I do. But I mean, it's not good, but it's interesting. Do I still see Ukraine being able to reclaim all its territory from 2022? Tyler, I was never super optimistic on that happening. So I'm still not optimistic on that happening. Thank you, me. The West would have had to provide Ukraine with a lot more weapons, a lot better weapons a lot quicker than they did for Ukraine to be able to get its land back. And we didn't. Ukraine had the big counteroffensive last year. We didn't give them the weapons they needed. And guess what? The counteroffensive failed. It failed because we wanted it to fail in a sense. Biden never wanted Ukraine to win the war. Biden never wanted Ukraine to get all of its land back because he was afraid that Putin will get mad and Putin will use nuclear weapons. The Biden administration had figured out whatever, that they believed there was a 50% chance Putin would use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. And rather than stand up to Putin, Cuban Missile Crisis style, and say, don't you dare, they started kind of caving and basically making sure that Ukraine wouldn't lose, but also wouldn't win the war. Noah's asking, will Trump actually dismantle the Department of Education? He can try. I mean, Republicans are at this point, Republicans are running Congress with Trump, or they will be, we believe. He can certainly try to cut all the money for the Department of Education if he wants. Exactly, Delisle. One of the big problems with Biden, and honestly, Europe as well, the Germans and the French, going into the Ukrainian counteroffensive last year was that the Ukrainians didn't have air support, and we knew the Ukrainians couldn't really do much without air support. And what a surprise, they couldn't. Thank you, Tyler, for the donut. Antuano, what the hell is that? Bye, Antuano. What kind of name is that? So my dream that Biden will delve into Ukraine are out. I'm not sure what that means. European will start seriously stepping up and helping Ukraine. I mean, they already are, Frost, is the thing. Europeans have been giving twice as much aid to the Ukrainians as the Americans have been giving. So, I mean, now the French have not, right? I mean, some European governments have not actually. France talks a good talk, but has not been a leader in developing aid. Germany is often being a pain in the ass when it comes to Ukraine, but the Germans have given the most aid among the Europeans. So it's kind of an interesting kind of trade-off there. But the Europeans have stepped up. The problem is there's only so much they can give. The Europeans don't have the weaponry like the Americans do. Thank you, Macabre. So that's a concern that the Europeans can't step in. Mario says the Swedes have given a lot. Scandinavians have given a lot across the board, compared to their economy size, the sort of Scandinavia, the Baltic states, the Poles, this has been a lie from the Trump people all along. The Europeans have given twice as much aid to the Ukrainians as the Americans have given. It's true, but, Trump is Trump, Denmark, exactly. So what else? Could Ukraine seek nuclear weapons? I think it would be hard for them to get them. First of all, if Russia finds out Ukraine is trying to get nuclear weapons, they might nuke them to stop it. So that would be bad. Second of all, I think, like we're seeing with the Iranians, it's hard to develop nuclear weapons and not have people find out. So the world might not be happy if Ukraine's doing it, but also the Russians would be particularly not happy. But honestly, if Ukraine had nuclear weapons, they wouldn't be nearly having the problem they're having. Yep, the Netherlands gave the bulk of their F-16s. Yep, the Netherlands was very helpful too. Yep. What else? Yeah, that's not really a good criticism, though. Well says, the name Well, there's not one single European country that has spent more than America. Well, that's because America is 1 million times bigger than the European countries. So, right, that's not really a fair criticism. That's like saying the poor guy down the block hasn't given nearly as much money as the rich guy down the block. Well, yeah, because the U.S. is huge. But overall, the Europeans have given more money than the Americans. And again, by judging by the size of the economy, the U.S.'s aid has actually been very small. I'm trying to remember, are we 13th or like 22nd? I'm forgetting where we are on the list. Based on the size of our economy, the U.S. isn't even in the top 10. All the Europeans. That's not our problem. Of course, it's our problem. Well, because we don't want a world war with Russia, which is what we're going to have if we don't help save the Ukrainians. The Russians are the natural offshoot of the Soviets. Soviet Union, as Ronald Reagan called them, the evil empire. And others have had similar expressions for Russia and Putin. They think they're our enemy. They've basically declared war on us, as Anne Applebaum, a famous writer, said. She said the Russians have declared war on us. We simply don't know it yet, right? The Russians will move on after Ukraine, and they will go after the Europeans next. And when they do that, we will get dragged into a world war. So if you paid attention to history and paid attention to World War I and paid attention to World War II and paid attention to wars in Europe overall and how they turn into world wars, you should have some real concern about the Russians going in and eating up a European country, because they're coming for our allies next. So yeah, it is our concern for the same reason that you actually should care about the cops stopping somebody from committing a crime down the block, even though it's not in front of your house and it's a mile away. If the cops let all the crimes happen that are a mile away from you and they don't stop them because they're a mile away, those crimes will eventually get worse and worse and worse until they come to your home too. So that's why we care, for example, if the police arrest people on the other side of town. Right? Well, Dawn, thank you. Oh, wow. That's a very cool gift. I've never seen that one before, Dawn. Thank you for that. The Scarecrow, and very generous too. But yeah, we absolutely do care because, we're Americans. We're the good guys. And we believe in defending democracy. And finally, some of the people mentioned on TikTok earlier, the U.S. has a treaty, basically a treaty commitment. We signed an agreement with Ukraine to defend them, to come to their aid if the Russians ever attacked. And in exchange, Ukraine got rid of its nuclear weapons. Thank you, Russell. Had Ukraine not given up its nuclear weapons, and by the way, it's the U.S. that got Ukraine to give up its nuclear weapons. Had Ukraine not given up its nuclear weapons, the Russians wouldn't have touched them. Right? So that's another reason we should get involved, because we promised we would. And up until the Trump administration, America's word actually meant something. So yeah, for many various reasons, it is our battle, and it's an important fight. And a lot of us believe in defending democracies, and a lot of us believe in standing up to America's enemies around the world, and that includes the Russians. Russia is trying to get the USSR back. I think so, Gothic Cells. I think absolutely. Poland may go and try to get nukes too. I mean, honestly, this is the problem of the Ukraine war, is it has taught the world that having nuclear weapons is a good thing, right? That having nuclear weapons is a good thing. Because had Ukraine not given up its nuclear weapons, the Russians probably wouldn't have attacked, Oh no, Obama definitely didn't do enough to defend. Somebody's saying Obama didn't do enough to defend Ukraine, and neither did Trump. And Biden did, but then Biden as well was scared of Putin. So even Biden, I'm sorry, but Biden screwed up. In the end, I think Biden screwed up with Ukraine, but better than Trump, who would have supported Putin, better than Obama, who kind of did nothing, With NATO backing, is an attack on Poland and the Baltics a serious possibility? Well, define NATO, right? Part of what keeps Putin from screwing around with Poland and the Baltic countries is thinking that America will go to war as part of our NATO commitment. Trump has made clear that maybe he won't. Right? Trump has repeatedly talked about, he invited Putin to invade Europe. He's talked about not defending European countries who he doesn't think are spending enough on defense. My opinion matters. Why, Michael? Because I'm actually a foreign policy expert with 40 years experience working in Washington, D.C. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, that's why my opinion matters, because I'm actually a foreign policy guy. Written for The Economist magazine. I have a law degree and a master's in foreign service from Georgetown. Probably the best foreign policy school in the world. Other than that, I don't know nothing about foreign policy. What do I know? And because it's my show, exactly as Jeff Smith just said, and because it's my show. And if my opinion doesn't matter, why are you here listening to my opinion? How's that? Ooh, that was kind of a Zen moment, right? If my opinion doesn't matter, then why are you trolls here? What about Israel? Well, got news for you. Because Donald Trump got elected, Israel may go and do 10 times worse against the Palestinians. Oh, well, guess you should have thought of that. People who said it doesn't matter who gets elected, whether that Trump and Kamala Harris would be the same. Well, the Israelis don't seem to think so. So joke's on you. Oh, well. Individual basis, I don't know, Pat. I mean, on an individual basis, you can start joining organizations and start supporting them monetarily that support democracy, right? That support basically Democrats at this point. I mean, Democratic get out the vote groups, whether it's groups reaching out to Latinos, groups reaching out for women. I mean, I just think there's a lot of different groups basically that folks you've got to start supporting more if we can. But it's not an easy question, really. Thank you, Doughboy, for the gift. Mass deportations, yeah. Well, Trump's planning on it if he can pull it off. Thank you, Chazak. I don't know if he's going to pull it off. You know, Trump wants to tank the dollar. I don't know. Thank you, Derek. I mean, a weak dollar makes U.S. exports increase. So, I mean, sometimes presidents do want to make the dollar weaker as far as that goes, you know? So, I mean, but I don't know. I haven't really heard anything about that. It's possible, you know? Thank you, Doughboy. Nancy, I didn't see your question. So, and I'm scrolling back and I'm not seeing I'm seeing lots of little words from you. Oh, there we go. What effect will Trump's immigration policy affect Ukrainians in America? I doubt it's going to affect Ukrainians in America at all. I mean, it's possible. I don't think Trump's people would do that. I don't think Trump's people would kick the Ukrainians out. I don't think they would. First of all, the Europeans would probably take them in, but I can't see Trump's people doing that. I think they would draw the line at that. I mean, I saw Joey Contino got worried about it today, but I don't think so. How does this election affect you who lives in Sweden? Well, you just joined NATO, and Donald Trump may not come defend you if the Russians get pissed. So it affects you in that way. Donald Trump also could sink the world economy with causing a trade war with tariffs. That's going to affect you because all the economy's interrelated. So, and you may have to spend a hell of a lot more on defense now because, again, you can't trust Donald Trump and the Americans. So that will affect you as well. Your taxes could go up. Your government programs could get cut in order to pay for defense. So, hey, Sky Queen. So it could affect you in a number of ways, being Swedish, I mean, or being not American, basically. Do I think we'll get involved in the Middle East again soon? Kelsey, I guess it depends what you mean, right? We haven't left, right? I mean, we're still hitting back at the Syrians and the Iranian surrogates in the Middle East. The Iranians are still going to keep attacking us or using others to do it. The Houthis in Yemen are going to keep attacking us, right? Israel and the Palestinians are going to continue to be at war, which they've been at war for 75 years. Well, not just the Palestinians, but a number of Arab states as well, right? So I guess it depends what your question really means. I mean, we're as involved as we're going to be. I love my large cup Chief Tropical. That's why I got it. This cup is funny. I have two of them. Oh, this is the tea one. I also have a mug of coffee. And I got this because I was in Chicago visiting my mom. I used to go a lot. And she would always get those crazy small coffee cups. Actually, kind of like this cup. Although I do love this cup because this one I got years ago. It's my Boris Badenov and Natasha mug, which the Americans, I should say the Anglophones among us will know. Speaking of Russians, this is a pretty hilarious meme, so to speak, it's going back in U.S. history. But these are way too small for me when I would make my coffee. So I bought like a huge coffee mug because I like cappuccinos. And this was born. I found this at like TJ Maxx in Chicago. It cost nothing. So I would keep these at my mom's house for like the last 20 years because they're really nice, huge coffee mugs and they make me happy. I use it tonight. I'm using it for water, which also is nice because it's a huge amount of water too. I've got the watermelon glass. Didn't I tell you, WC? I took one of them. Hang on. I took one of them. Here we go. Yes. I took one of the watermelon glasses. So my nephew got several of the rest of them because he would make drinks in them. But I so love these, and these were mom's, that I just thought they were so cute. So I kept one just as my as my souvenir. So thank you, Overwhelmed, for subscribing. Elon may be in the U.S. illegally. Yes, there was a story a couple of weeks ago that it looks like Elon Musk came here illegally. I don't know what that does to his status now, right? But it's interesting. I don't know, Tyler. I'm not sure. I don't use that content. I don't quite know what it is. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. Is that the one that does all the cool maps? That does all the sort of interesting updates on the fighting? Because Vlad has shown me those a lot. I don't really use them, but Vlad uses them a lot, our Ukrainian friend. Well, who knows if Elon is still illegal, but it looks like he started off illegal, yes, which would mean, yeah, visa fraud. I mean, it's an interesting question as to, are you still an American citizen if you lied on your citizenship application? I don't know. I did sell my bike, a chopper. I found a very nice guy from Chicago who was willing to pay my asking price. He was not being a jerk about it. He was being very nice. He was very thoughtful. I mean, I liked it because he was also a very nice guy, was very sort of moved about it, like offered to let me keep the bike. It was and paid me full price. And it was wonderful. So yes, I did. So I was very happy because it went to a good home, even though it made me sad. I was like, it's a bike that I'm not going to use. At some point you gotta get rid of it. But he was very generous, which I appreciated as well. Because some of the other guys I told you were kind of on Facebook were being jerks, like, "Hey, this is a really bad bike," and I'm just like, "Go away," He kind of said, like, I was asking what I mean about keeping the bike. He said, "Well, if you ever want to have it back, just let me know. And maybe don't even take it because I feel bad taking it from you. This is the bike you grew up with." And I was like, "Dude, thank you, but I've had this bike in my mom's closet, my mom's garage for 50 years. I'm clearly not going to use it." So thank you, PT82, for subscribing. Oh, and Flower Lady was the one who offered you the subscription. So I did have a hell of a Chicago journey. Yes, back in DC now. So anyway, I just did answer Nancy's question. Yeah. Did I ride it one last time? Well, no. I mean, the wheels are flat, so we couldn't do that. Thank you, PT. Mom's house is hitting the open market. We've got a family checking it out tomorrow. That's very interested. So we will see if they're interested in B, interested in paying our price, but we shall see. But they're checking it out tomorrow. But I would love to sell to them because they seem very nice and they've lived nearby and they want sort of a historic home. So that would be very sweet. But, it always comes down to money, so we will see. But it would be nice if they got it because they seem nice and I kind of like that. You know what I mean? But, it's a long story, not a long story, but I'm the executor of the estate and I've got to look after the estate, my brothers and sisters. And, I've got to basically get the most money I can in terms of my duty to the estate. So, or reasonably seek the most money I can is the legal appropriate way of looking at it. Housing market in the U.S. still good. Housing market in the U.S. is still pretty good. It looks like it's been slowing the last several months. It would anyway. Like typically, summertime is bigger. Mortgage rates kind of went up a little bit. It's funny. Mortgage rates are still historically pretty low. For Americans, they're kind of high because we got used to mortgage rates in like 2%, and now they're 6 or something. Thank you, Betsy. But did she really type? Trio King. Did Melania Trump refuse to meet Joe Biden? I know she got invited. Did she though? Is that true? I did not see that. Ooh, excuse me. I saw that she was invited. She said no. She did not say no. No, what? A prior commitment with her book? Oh my God. Oh, she's horrible. Oh, she's just horrible. That's so sad. Thank you. Thank you for the blesses. That's just really sad. Wow. That's too bad. No, Melania, look, the whole Trump gang, they've got issues, that's too bad. No, Melania should have absolutely said, and you know what too? Trump probably told her no. Trump didn't want Melania showing up at the White House for a photo op and all this crap. I guarantee you. No, it's very sad though, because that's just inappropriate. And she could have used it to plug her book. Actually, she's got a big book out. Why not? If she went to this White House thing with Jill Biden, she would have gotten all the news coverage, you know? That's very sad. Do I think Kamala will run in 2028? No. Typically, it is bad form to run for president again after you've lost. Typically, after you've lost as the candidate. Trump did it and won, obviously. Lyndon, that's because you're a troll. Well, thank you for joining the show, Lyndon. Don't come back. But do I think she actually wrote the book? No. No. I know First Lady Elon Musk, people have been joking about Elon Musk being the real First Lady now, which is very funny. But yeah, Kamala Harris is not going to run again. No. She had her shot and she lost, you know, but that's sort of the normal way it works, because it's kind of considered that if you lost, it's part your fault is kind of, again, and frankly, it is to a degree, right? It doesn't mean your fault necessarily in a, oh my God, what did you do wrong way? But if you didn't win, then it suggests that you're not up to winning. Maybe people just don't like you enough, whatever it is, right? But generally speaking, you don't run again. Yeah. So I would say she should not run again. I liked her. I would have liked her to be president, but I feel like she had her chance and people didn't like her for whatever reason. She did okay. Here's a point too, by the way, I should have said. And you can Google this, and you always should Google it. I always tell people, Google the information on your own. But Trump did not win a historic victory in the sense of a landslide. They keep saying a landslide. He won by, now it looks like 2% or a little less than 2% is the popular vote, which is good, but it's not a landslide. A lot of presidents have done better. Hillary Clinton actually did better. Hillary Clinton won by 3%. No, not 3%. What was the percentage Hillary won by? It was more than the 2% though. So yeah, it was not a landslide. He won. Thank you, Naisha, for the hearts and for the roses, multiple gifts. Thank you. It's not a landslide just because you say it is. No, it's a landslide when it's a lot more than every other president has won by, and it's not a lot more than every other president has won by. Yeah, like David just said, 48.2 to 50.1. It's under 2%. It's a solid victory, but it's not a landslide. It's just not. A landslide would be 5 percentage points or more, right? Palestinian lives matter. Then you should have voted for Kamala Harris and done everything you could to stop Donald Trump. Oh, well. So, did you see what they did? Did you see what they did? This Arab American group wrote a letter to Trump today. And it's this Arab American group who endorsed him for president. And they wrote a letter today to Trump saying, okay, we got you elected. Now it's your turn to basically come and save the Palestinians and turn your back on the Israelis. And everybody was sharing this on Twitter, just laughing because, I just, could you be more naive? I don't think you could be more naive, actually, than Arab Americans going, well, we voted for you, Trump. Now come save the Arabs. Yeah, he's going to save you all right by basically kicking everybody out of the country. Is what he's already said. Thank you, Bjorn, for the gift there. Very sad, very sad. Do I think the Harris administration is working behind the scenes to find evidence of cheating? No, I don't, David. I'm sure the Republicans tried to cheat. They do, but I don't think the elections were stolen. American elections tend not to be stolen. 2016 was very weird, but in terms of just like stealing votes, it doesn't happen. We've never had significant amount of vote stealing in any election in the U.S. We just don't. So yeah, I don't buy it being rigged. I don't think so. I don't agree. Didn't thank you for the hearts. Oh, hi, John. I'm just looking at them now. Thank you. Sorry. Because I was answering questions on TikTok, your YouTube. So like I go back and forth to the TikTok and the YouTube comments, and sometimes like, drip, full moon tonight? I don't know. Not outside my window right here, but maybe. Anyway, shenanigans. Oh yeah, we all heard about Amsterdam. Oh yeah. Not just one night; it was several nights, actually. Sadly. Okay, just checking, JD. But the 4B movement. I don't even know what that is, Emil. 4B. What is that? Vicente says, will the filibuster still work to hinder the Republicans' agenda, or is there a way they can bypass it? They can bypass it. Yeah. I mean, they can basically just get rid of it if they want. Let's see. You know, they might get rid of it. What happened in Amsterdam is a bunch of Arab migrants, a bunch of Arab immigrants basically went on a rampage attacking Jews the other night after a soccer game. And then people tried to make up excuses and say, oh, they were Israelis who were mean. Well, then they did it again the next night, like in different other places. Thank you, Kim. They basically are going on like daily rampages looking for Jews. And they aren't looking for Israelis, they're looking for Jews. And they've been stopping people on the street to see if they're Jews. Lovely, really lovely. So, very sad. Arabs who are immigrants, they hate other Arabs to be immigrants. I'm not sure what you meant by that, Hamza, though. I mean, feel free to tell it more. But yeah, the only problem is, even if the Israeli fans did something, the next day, the Arabs rioted again and started like setting trams on fire and looking for Jews all over the city. If you're upset at Israelis, you don't go on a rampage against Jews. You go maybe on a rampage against Israel. Thrilled about. Thank you, Randy. But it was anti-Semitic. Yeah, it was anti-Semitic. I mean, literally rampage against Jews, stopping people on the street who look Jewish to make them prove they're not Jewish, or you're going to beat them up or kill them, is per se anti-Semitic. You just can't get around it by saying, oh, they were mean and, you know, whatever. So yeah, no. WC Field says the Democrats' problem is they overestimate the intelligence of the general population. I don't know if that's guys, I still don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened. I'm saying, like, I am still trying to kind of figure out what happened last week. Trump, again, it wasn't a mandate, but he did very well across the board, right? Somebody was saying swing states on TikTok. He did very well across the board. He did very well with lots of different groups, right? You know, that's weird, especially because Kamala Harris just didn't strike me as that bad. I mean, you may not like her because the politics or whatever, but you know, I don't know. I don't think it's clear because Trump is such a horrific candidate and such a horrific human being that there's really no excuse for this many people voting for him. It's not, unless it's simply that people thought people were wrong, but they thought the economy sucked. And when the economy sucks, when they think it does, they vote against the people in power, you know? And the sexism didn't help. Yeah, I'm sure there was a sexism question as well, you know? Well, I mean, the problem, Devin says he's tired of or Devin, girl, maybe? Sorry. Devin, I think of that as a woman's name, but could it be a guy's name? Tired of the pundit. I can't see your picture well enough. Tired of pundit hand-wringing, whining about what Dems did wrong. The thing is, you've got to do that because we need to know what happened. We need to know why women. Okay, thank you. Well, I know a Devin who's a woman, but I wasn't sure. All of a sudden, I thought, could that be a guy's name? We need to know what went wrong to stop it from happening again. Now, that doesn't mean the process is going to be fun because you're right. It's going to be blaming trans people, blaming immigration, blaming this, blaming that, blaming the Kamala Harris people, blaming the Obama people, right? Like blah, 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 blah. I am reading the chat, Brandiv. I could just repeat your name and repeat your comment, and then you know I'm reading the chat. It is a guy's name, too. I thought it might be. Oh, Devin Nunes, of course. I'm being stupid. That's why. Right, because Devin Nunes, big Republican, crazy member of Congress, is a Devin. That's why I was thinking Devin was but I know a woman named Devin too. That's why. Yep. Hermione Weasley. That's very funny. I was like, first I went Hermione, and I'm like, is that a real name is Hermione actually a real name, by the way, in the UK? Just curious about that because I'd never seen it before until Harry Potter. It is now. That's funny. Oh, it was not a real name? Okay, I'm seeing disagreement here. Yep, Devin Nunes is cow. Exactly. Interesting. Several people voted for Trump that you talked to because they said they wouldn't vote for a woman. It is now for Harry Potter, right? Hermione was the daughter of Helen of Sparta? Are you being funny or no? Hermione. It does sound like Greek, actually. You're right. Greek goddess mythology? I'm trying to think of how you'd even say that in Greek. Yeah, interesting. Alexa, what is the origin of the name Hermione?
The name Hermione has ancient Greek origins and is derived from the Greek messenger god Hermes.
Oh, it's derived from Hermes. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Was the daughter of King Menelaus and Queen Helen of Sparta. Oh, I did not know that. I totally did not know that. Huh. Interesting. Menelaus' daughter was Hermione. Huh. Okay. Didn't know. See, you learned something. Oh, my Alexa knew something. Exactly, Carol. We often have problems with my Alexa's a little, a little not quite, Anyway, but from Hermes, that's really interesting. Harry Potter. It would have been funny if it was at Harry Potter, though. I know. Shakespeare also. That's like I was at a party in France at a friend's house who was having a party in his apartment, and I'm talking to this guy, and he says his name is Thibault. And Thibault, and I'm like, Thibault, is it French? He goes, yeah. I said, wait, spell it. He spells it Thibault. Tybalt from Shakespeare. And I said, Tybalt? You're kidding. He was not amused. I thought it was the coolest thing. I'm like, that's a name out of Shakespeare. I've never heard anybody having that name. But in France, it's used. And is, of course, pronounced Thibault, which I thought was the coolest thing. I was like, Tybalt. That's from Romeo and Juliet, I believe. Tybalt was one of the characters. Very interesting. So, but I love you find names like that, I got another guy in France named that. Yeah. You find you find names like that abroad. Well, Greeks, of course. I mean, we have an uncle Apollo. Athena. We say Athena. We say Athena. We've got Athena as the first name. Like I said, Apollo, Dionysus. My cousin's Dionysus. Thibault is a very common name in France. Yeah, I just had no idea. And it was like Thibault. And I was like, Thibault. I'm like, that's Shakespeare. Beau is an EAU. Yeah. That's funny. Jean-Marc, I always forget who's French and who isn't here. Hermione is your sister-in-law, married to the Weasleys. Anyway, so kind of interesting. Yeah, kind of interesting. Host debates. I have not hosted debates. I'm intrigued. I always go by Parker's show and watch, and I went again today, and I'm always intrigued. I will say this: Parker has this. Parker, Parker Get a Job or whatever? He has such a memory for detail that I get scared that I couldn't do what he does. He was talking today, and somebody said, "Well, the immigration groups came out, or some U.S. immigration, blah blah blah, came out against Harris," and he goes, "Well, that was actually an immigration commission deputy, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't really an immigration." And I'm listening to him going, how do you know these things? That guy is just amazing. So I've always been a little afraid about bringing the trolls or whatever to talk, because I worry I may not have like Parker's encyclopedic memory of stuff. That it was literally listening to talk about the immigration thing today. I was like, how did you know it was some little sub-immigration group? It wasn't really a main immigration group, but he knew it. And I was like, oh my God. He's great though. He's great. Thank you, Katie. In any case, but yes, no, I got to we talked about that. I've got to reach out and I actually did. You guys had told me to use Discord to reach out to, is it Parker and Harry, but I don't know how to use Discord to do that. I don't know how to look people up on Discord. So somebody will have to tell me. He's very good. Yeah. T-Bone. Hey, T-Bone. Thanks for the gift. Keep the gifts coming, guys. The links to their Discords are in their bios. Oh, okay. I'll look. I'll go. I did not see it when I looked at Harry's. I must have gone to the wrong bio, but I looked at Harry's and couldn't find it. We're talking about the young guy in here named Parker, Betsy. Exactly. Yep. he's, again, like the rest of them, he's probably 21 or 22 or something ridiculous. And just incredibly good, and gets like, 10,000 people watching his lives or something insane. They're 22. Oh my God. Amazing. 22. Oh, so impressed. So impressive. Yeah. Yeah. All right. See you, Andre. See you, Vincente. Appreciate you stopping by. He's a very good debater. Thank you, Elizabeth. And he's very calm, which I'm not. But I'm always impressed by people who are he's almost unemotional, which is interesting. That's how you got to his disc. Parker's link is in his bio. I'll go look again. But he's he's just very good. Yeah. I wonder, honestly, Parker, I'd be very surprised if he wasn't. Parker reminds me of like a high school or college debater. He's got that kind of ability to discuss. I wonder if he was a college debater. I wouldn't be surprised. Parker is this guy on TikTok. Parker Get a Job, I think is the name of his account. Economics major. The Dean guy, I don't know. I'd have to see who Dean is. I don't think I know who Dean is. I probably have seen him in some of the stuff, but I don't know who Dean is. I've probably seen him, but I can't think of who he is offhand. So he's very good. Yeah, but he hosts. Thank you, Shebug. He hosts. He brings. I don't know. Does he just bring people who disagree? But he brings people on, and which I'm not going to necessarily do, because people try to join. Dean is ice cold. People try to join, but I never. We'd have to see. I'm not necessarily convinced. Just for debating. Okay. Interesting. Do I blame Biden for not dropping out early enough? Yes. Biden should have dropped out. Biden had said when he got elected that he was going to be like an interim president, right? He was going to be in office for 4 years and then somebody else was going to run. And he didn't. He decided to stay. I don't think that was helpful. I think it created too much turmoil. It did not give people a chance to get to know Kamala Harris. I think 2 years might have been better than 3 months, But I don't know whether that would have changed the election. Also, if there were a primary, would she have won? She would have had a good chance as the sitting vice president. I'm not convinced we had anybody else who would have a better chance of winning necessarily, but it's possible. I'm going to yawn at you now. Sorry, guys. But it probably didn't help. Yeah, exactly. What Super Hornet just said. It probably didn't help. Pete's good. The country has still got to deal with electing a gay man president. That's going to take some time. But Pete Buttigieg is scary good. Newsom is a good speaker. He's California, which again, San Francisco. I mean, that doesn't play well in America overall, but you never know. She might not have won the primary though. But I guess right. Well, we would have had the same people we talked about as vice president: Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg, what's her name from Michigan, who we like, Gretchen Whitmer, what's his face, Josh Shapiro, Pennsylvania, governor of, help me out here, Kentucky, spacing out on his name. He's another one that would have been a possibility. Andy Bashir. Thank you. Yep. Andy Bashir. Exactly. Yep. A gay man or a woman who would be elected first, Matt asked. That's very interesting. A gay man or a woman. Look, I never thought America would elect a black man as president. They did twice. That shocked me. Right. So who knows? Right. Trump named somebody else Secretary of Defense. Pete Hegseth. I'm forgetting who that even is. Is he a congressman? I know the name. Hang on, let me pull this up here. But that's another not the crazy person. No, you're being funny. You're being funny. That's the Fox News guy. You're being funny. Mike, I know. Don't unless you're being serious, don't share stuff like that because it comes across as being real. I doubt you're being honest about that. Yeah. Don't share stuff like that unless you're being serious. I mean, because otherwise, or make it clear you're making a joke, because otherwise that starts to annoy me. So, he's been selected for real? I thought Mike was, and I'm chastising Mike. Seriously? You're joking. Let me pull this up. Who is he? Get out of here. Not joking. All right, I take it back. Sorry, you did scoop apparently. Wait, who is this guy? Let me see here. I'm surprised my Twitter. Well, the problem with Twitter is Elon fucked it up when he took over Twitter. So we don't get the news as it comes in on Twitter anymore because Elon, I guess, thought it would be nice to have it be just thrown all over the place. Where is this? He's a Fox News host. Get out of here. He did not. He did not. He picked a Fox News host as his Secretary of Defense. Are you kidding me? Is he insane? Is he completely insane? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, Twitter's bad. Yep. Pete Hegseth? Trump says he's poaching Fox News host Pete Hegseth to serve in my cabinet as the Secretary of Defense. I mean, again, everyone's talking about this. I don't know whether Trump is trolling. Trump released a statement. I am honored to announce that I've nominated Pete Hegseth to serve in my cabinet as the Secretary of Defense. Pete has spent his entire life as a warrior for the troops and for the country. He can't be. I still want to see this because I don't, no offense to Ron Filipkowski, but I don't like it when people post things and they don't say where they got it from. Like, where did he get this Trump statement from? You know, I mean, I know Ron tends to tell the truth, but it's always a little weird. Okay, that's just weird. It's true. This has got to be, he's picking a Fox News host as the Secretary of Defense. Okay, this is the part where you get where you get kind of crazy. Army combat veteran. I mean, that's nice, but that doesn't make him Secretary of Defense. He's been a Fox News host for 8 years where he used that platform to fight for our military and our veterans. Yeah. Oh God. See, this is what happens when you elect an idiot as president. Okay. I mean, he's picked a Fox News host. He's a TV presenter on Fox News. I mean, his background's military, but I got news for you. Just because you joined the military doesn't mean you're qualified to be Secretary of Defense. I mean, oh my God. I so apologize to whoever I thought Mike or whoever was lying or not lying, was joking. Oh my God. Wow. That's really screwed up. Wow. Now, mind you, he could have picked Kash Patel, who was horrific. He could have picked Tulsi Gabbard, who was horrific. This guy's just entirely unqualified. I will say this too. This is this is the problem when you elect an idiot president, okay? And we saw this last time. We're seeing it again. People thought it was cute to vote for Trump. Oh, he sexually harasses women and he talks about killing Hillary Clinton being killed and this kind of crap, right? And people think it's funny. You elected a troll president. He is now picked as the man who's going to defend America as our Secretary of Defense, some guy with no qualifications whatsoever because Trump liked him on Fox News. He picked some Fox News presenter as Secretary of Defense who with zero experience to literally defend our country as the top guy to defend our country. I mean, seriously, this is why I say this. Like there are consequences to electing a blithering idiot president of the United States. The MAGA people and the people who would vote for Trump think it's cute, I think, that they elected somebody who was bad, and you just got an idiot. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you, Marty. What do you think of Elon Musk banning Steve King? He banned Steve King? Stephen King, the author, for calling Elon the first lady. Did he? Did he though? I saw him call him that. Did Elon ban him? Oh my, it's pretty funny though. Pretty funny. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I just read his background. He was in the military. That's great. Being in the military does not necessarily make you qualified to be Secretary of Defense. The guy's a host at Fox News. I just read the statement from Trump. Half of Trump's statement says the guy's qualified because he's been defending the troops for 8 years on Fox News. That's actually not a qualification for Secretary of Defense. It's really not, right? Oh, he likes the troops? I mean, seriously? Like, that's a qualification for being Secretary of Defense? You would hope every American would. I mean, Donald Trump doesn't like the troops. Donald Trump has called our troops suckers and losers. So let's face it, you could be president and hate the troops. So in the Trump administration, I guess it is considered a good thing that, we actually pick a Secretary of Defense who likes who likes our troops. But Jesus Christ. I mean, he's a Fox News host. Give me a break. I mean, give me a break, Man, didn't see that one coming. Didn't see that one coming. Wow. 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 Kirsty Noem. I mean, whatever. I don't really care. I mean, she is who she is. I don't love her, but whatever. Trump picked a Fox News host as Secretary of Defense. Well, hey, again, it could have been Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, let's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm actually doing a tweet. Hey, could have been Tulsi or Cash. I mean, pretty bad though. Still pretty bad. But wow, Fox News host. Oh my God, that is hilarious. He's such a weirdo. He's just such a weirdo. Wow, a Fox News host, Secretary of Defense. I mean, as Adam Kinzinger said, the most hilariously predictable thing. Like, it's exactly what, of course, Trump would pick a Fox News host, of course. Wow. 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 So I'm still looking at all this. But again, he didn't pick Kash Patel. He's skipping the crazy people, which is very interesting. Not crazy. Kash Patel is an extremist. He's not crazy, but he's a MAGA extremist. He's skipping the MAGA extremist though, which is very interesting. Wow, that is so hilariously bizarre. Oh God. Well, Vivek, they were talking about Vivek was Vivek, they were talking about for Secretary of Defense as well? Or CIA? Kash Patel is not CIA director. They already picked somebody else. They already picked, who did I say it was? John Ratcliffe. Again, Trump could change his mind, but the news came out it was going to be John Ratcliffe, who's no great person, I don't care if he's retired military. So what? That doesn't make you qualified to be Secretary of Defense, right? That's ridiculous. I mean, people like to do that with the military. They like to sort of claim somebody's got military experience and now they're qualified for everything. You're not qualified for everything. Guess who else has military experience? Michael Flynn. Michael Flynn probably should be in jail right now. He certainly shouldn't be anywhere near the military. I mean, it doesn't mean you're qualified to be Secretary of Defense because you were in the military. Fox News host. Joku, I am so annoying because you're a Trumper and you can't handle the truth. That's why you don't like the truth, because you come from a political movement that's used to lying to people. And because you have to be lied to and not told the truth, it makes you upset when people tell you the truth. Sorry. Sorry. Wow. Exactly. You can't handle the truth. Exactly. Marjorie Taylor Greene did not get picked for anything yet. That would be funny, though. That would be funny. I do have the double repeaters. We brought them out. They kind of went off earlier. I don't want to kind of have them do too much. Oh, Marion, always good to see you real time. And thank you for that. Wow. Well, that's pretty funny though. Pete Hegseth. And I'm literally sitting here. I Google him and go, he's a Fox News host. Why are you lying? No. Yep. Random Fox News host picked to be Secretary of Defense. Wow. I mean, wow. Right. He was watching TV when he picked it. Clearly, he's like, I like him. He's good. I like him. He's good on Fox. He likes me. Let's make him Secretary of Defense. So goofy. So freaking goofy. Wow. Wow. Well, that was weird. The wig. I've got the wig. Oh, that's true. I do have the wig. I don't even remember. Was I doing Trump there? I don't remember if I was doing Trump. Wow. Oh yeah. Watching secretary, watching TV, picking a secretary. He's good. Wow. Oh, well. Oh, well. What do you do? Taiwan will send Ukraine 15 MIM-23 Hawk surface-to-air missile batteries. Its sensors can detect low. I'm surprised Taiwan can spare them. That's good for Taiwan, but geez. Although maybe Biden's asking him to do that. Possible. Was von der Leyen the German Minister of Defense? I did not know that. Wow. Oh, well. Anyway, you know what? We've been going an hour and a half. I didn't even realize. Today did kind of fly by. So we are almost done here. Thank you, Courtney. I may sign off because usually at the hour and a half mark is when hour and a half is a good long show. Sometimes I do shorter shows like yesterday when I wasn't feeling well, but feeling much better today. Yeah, Melania. I did talk about the Melania photos. Very interesting little yesterday. The Russians decided to publish Melania's nude photos on Russian TV, to honor Donald Trump winning the presidency, which is a really dicky move, and was meant to basically be a slap at Donald Trump, which I thought was very interesting. Sasha, I hear you. You'll get water in 1 second. Anyway, very weird. Very weird. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Let's do this again tomorrow. I'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time, U.S. tomorrow. So join us. Robert, Dino Man, thank you for the Dynamite gift. How long have I been on live? I mean, an hour and a half right now. I started 6 o'clock. I started 6 o'clock New York City time or DC time. Sorry, Simply Live. I usually try to quit about an hour and a half in so I don't stress my voice too much. And it just gets kind of tiring after an hour and a half of performing. But thank you guys. Thank you for the gifts. Sasha wants water. Okay. All right. Just wait. Oh no, she doesn't want water. She wants me to brush her teeth because she gets a treat after. I will be back tomorrow. Yep. I'm back every night, Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern time, US. That's 6 o'clock Washington, D.C. time where I am, or New York City time. So follow me on TikTok, follow me on Twitter and YouTube. I should say YouTube. I am on Twitter, but I don't broadcast on Twitter. And you can find me then. All right. All right, guys. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you, Rose. Have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow. All right. Thanks, guys. Pete Hegseth. Wow. Oh, God. Wow. All right. See you guys.